Hello YouTubers, this is noobifier, finally and possibly the most important panel. But that does not mean I'm done with SidCon, I have some other videos planned. The last panel, usually called the keynote. Please do me a solid and share these with your friends or orgmates who may not know as much as you do about Star Citizen. Here's what you need to know. Chris began by saying that yesterday, after a somewhat glitchy Squadron 42 playthrough, Rich went back and reworked all of it and re-recorded all of it without any issues. He was very happy. Chris confirmed what we know, that this is a game and it's going to be soft launched with no specific date on when they announce it, and just say, yep, it's finished and released. 1.0 is the target release, where we would have no universe wipes and the basic features that would be called a minimum viable product. Many years ago, I did a video on this subject. It's linked up now. Take a look to see how accurate I was back then and see how well or not well CIG has been making progress. Chris confirmed that fishing was not going to be in the 1.0 list, but maybe shortly after. Rich Tyrer, senior game designer for both games, was next. Rich explained that Star Citizen is a wide range of games that would appeal to many types of gamers, and to achieve this, they would need to focus on a wide range of gameplay that is all linked together. Between 4.0 and 1.0, there was no specific time frame mentioned. 1.0 would be polished and no longer be referred to as a game in development. Would have some finished gameplay loops, and as I said, no resets. 100 systems at launch was a stretch goal, and Rich said that because of the scope and scale of this game has grown, it would not hit that mark, nor were they trying to. The old metric had fewer than 96 points of interest in an entire star system, and now there are thousands. He went on to say that currently there's no real way for a new player to simply know how to do things. They would have to do research or be shown by another player. Mining, salvage, bounty, courier, hauler, and merc were the types of jobs on the list, and I imagine that these are going to be the ones that are releasing full at 1.0. So they're adding a main storyline and story system to the PU within those fields. You're going to be coached on how to play the game, and you'll be working for various guilds to build up a reputation as you learn. Think of it this way, you're given a little mission, and it kind of coaches you on what ship you need to do and where you need to go. And after doing that, you can do it yourself. So you can choose to not do these stories, but eventually you might think that you need to gain better access to the game. The idea of citizenship, that opens up areas that you have access to, such as land ownership. 1.0 will launch with 5 systems: Stanton, Pyro, Nyx, Castra, and Terra. Each system will be fully realized, and along with the main story, they plan to add a set of system-based stories. Guilds tie the job types together, and you grow reputation and skill by doing missions here. They want to remove the missions from the Mobiglass, so you'll need to physically be called or go up to an NPC, a mission giver if you will. They spoke about some guilds. The URW, or United Resource Workers, is an industrial guild. The ITG, or Interstellar Transport Guild, is a cargo hauling guild. The ISF, or Imperial Sports Federation, is your racing guild. The AOS is the Academy of Sciences. Wonder what they do. And for combat, there are council and mercenary guilds, but these are set against each other on different sides of the law. Joining one will automatically make you the enemy of the other. Rich came back to speak about the economy, and this might have been part of what was called subsumption in the past. Star Sim seems to be what this is now called. And no, I don't think that they just flushed years and years of what Tony was designing. I believe that all of that just became part of this. Feel free to go and complain on Reddit if you disagree with me. Counterinflation will be controlled by taxes and insurance. Loss matters in Star Citizen. Losing your life or your ship should have a real cost. They're adding 3 levels of insurance. There's chassis and components, and then chassis, components, and decorations. Based on wear and age, insurance will pay out credits. But based on wear and age, if you also have a warranty on this ship, it'll output a ship instead. All ships bought on the Pledge store will have insurance and warranty. If you buy a ship in-game, you're going to need to pay a little bit more for those 2 things. Claim timers are not going away, but they will be proportional to the crafting timers. You're going to be provided a shuttle ship as a loaner to go collect your ship, and then the shuttle will be removed. Time in claiming ships will vary based on the size. Starter ships have practically no cooldown, and as you go up in size, the timers will become longer. they're planning to set out a series of guides to facilitate you to know how to get what you want. For example, you want to build a Mark II Hornet. You need to unlock the blueprint by doing some combat in a smaller ship to get the reputation. And then you're going to need the parts by mining, and that'll provide you the rep and credits. By doing it this way, the Hornet becomes its own little game loop between sandbox and a soft framework. Rich then started to break down the endgame content because after all of these stories are done and completed, what's left? The more hardcore player might quickly blip through all of that and then want more. Instanced content are fleet battles that'll output military blueprint, strategic missions, FPS operations, and these are all based in StarSim. Events are going to be spawned in automatically based on the proportions of the situation. This endgame is all about having something to do with all of the things that you've acquired. Rich broke down secure and non-secure systems. If you're attacked in security, holding out for a short time will allow the security to assist. Owned ships that are stolen can be marked by you as such. The stolen ship will eventually become unusable, and then salvage is basically the only option for the person that stole the ship. You can, with the correct reputation, disable this feature and then rebadge the ship, but at a cost. You will not be able to tow that ship through a regular jump point because you'll pop up. You'll be detected. In speaking about bases, the base owner can, depending on the location, have protection. If that base is located in a lawless location, there are still planetary base shields and turrets for protection. These can be attacked by others in other means, and this is unlike what you might find in a secure system. Station warfare was the next topic. The planetary shield tech is tied to a payment of seal token payments. Larger structures will pay out tokens, and these can be converted into shield coverage. There will never be enough coverage to protect everybody, so it's up to you to get the most seal tokens you can or risk being without defenses. At the halfway mark of this keynote, we went back to the bases that were being built on Pyro in the last one. An org base is the logical place to operate large-scale activities from, but now I guess we're going into orbit. Why be limited to the surface when you can build, operate, and live from your own station? Such a location will require vast time and resources. If you wish to build this, you're going to need to build a supply bay, and that can only be built from a Pioneer. This first location was described to be somewhat like a grav cart with its drones and all of those things, but obviously at a much larger scale and tailored to building the remainder of the station. The horizontally stacked cargo grid will allow you to bring all of the resources that you need, and they can be delivered in bulk. Drop after drop keeps the construction going. The entire org is able to pitch in and help. The supply bay will eventually become embedded within the structure as the base continues to expand. The bridge of the space station is obviously where you control permissions and all of the systems. The observation lets you do that. Observe. The hangar deck is going to let you build pads and hangars. Many of these decks can be connected by roads, omitting the need for elevators. Interior spaces can be expanded if the interior systems are upgraded to support it. Hardpoints can be used for resource gathering or for defense. There's a second type of hardpoint which allows you to build entire wings from your space station. Cargo, refinery, hangar wings were all teased. Decals and paints will be options. The upper and lower sides can be further customized. The lower side can support the flight deck module, which will be a great location for the on-call fighter wing for defense. If you have something nice, there's always going to be someone out there who wants to take it from you. Orgs can use that space as an offensive wing staging area, but will also more likely than not be where the majority of the org wealth is. They showed off the dry dock with the intent to build very, very large ships, and they teased that thing containing a Bengal. Right? And then they zoomed out even further, showing a network of stations that were all tied together. The interior of the space stations can be upgraded with turrets, and in closing they said that this is seen as the end state goal for orgs and Star Citizen, the universe that'll cater to all players. This was the last panel for the entire event. They never indicated any time frame for any of this. They never indicated how far along they were with any of these plans, and that is not meant to sound negative. I just felt that it was quite important to point that out. I am planning to break down the Squadron 42 trailer with some comments that I had, and I'm planning to break down also my trip to Manchester. The new house is progressing really well. The new studio is pretty much 2,700 square feet, and this build is taking up a significant amount of time, and it's proven to be quite a distraction. I will update you on that also soon. That's it. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. Please share the video and the entire playlist for the 2024 coverage with a friend or org mate. Fly safe.